I'm heading down the Sliding Sands Trail in Haleakala National Park. In Hawaiian it's called the Hawai'i Trail, which is meant to mean something like the sandy octopus, because it's sandy, but it's also sort of slippery and windy. I'm going to be heading down into the Haleakala crater, and I'm going to see some of the cinder cones. Now, none of them are erupting because this is a dormant volcano, but you can still see around 7 different cinder cones, which all erupted in the last few centuries or so. You can see the sort of red rock over there, which is means there's iron. So when that cinder cone erupted, there's a lot of iron that got released. You can see some yellow. It's sulfur. So all these different elements getting brought up out of the earth and then deposited as the volcano erupts. I've spoken to 2 rangers, and the first ranger I spoke to gave me a very quick pronunciation guide, though I'm still probably going to get quite a lot of things wrong. She was very, very helpful, and she helped me plan a little bit of a route. I've got quite a lot of hiking gear with me, including waterproofs in case it rains or gets too windy. I've got my hiking poles, I've got a lot of water, I've also got snacks and sunscreen, and I've also got a bandana to cover my head if I want to. Now, I got stopped by a second ranger just as I began the descent down into the Sliding Sands Trail. Now, he was making sure I was prepared for what I was going to undertake. He stopped one girl from going down because she didn't have any water at all, which isn't something you'd really want to not have with you when you're making a backcountry hike. I spoke to him about 5 minutes. He was trying to talk me into not going as far as I was planning, but I've mentioned that I've done quite a lot of hiking, including a 2,000-mile appalachian trail hike. And after I swore to him and gave him my word of honour that he would not have to come down and rescue me, he seemed quite happy with me going. But it's nice to know that they are looking out for people. It's a beautiful view. This is my first time hiking at altitude. I'm 9,000-10,000 foot up, and I'm going to be heading down to around 7,000 or so. So I've not felt a shortness of breath or anything. I brought extra water just in case I needed it because of dehydration caused by altitude, but so far nothing. I guess I'm immune. Hooray. Have a much better view down into the crater now. You can see Pu'u'o Maui and Pu'u'o Pele. You can see where the actual trail runs between them down on the floor. That's where I'd really like to get to today. But I'm not going to push myself too far. Now, none of the cinder cones you can get to the top of, apart from one which is just over there, which is a small one. So I'd like to walk up that trail. you're able to see the cinder cone that you're actually able to climb Haleau'u and to the right of it, it's Halemau'u. You can't climb that one or any of the others. So even though it looks so dry around here, and it's extremely volcanic rock, plants do grow. The Haleakala Silversword is the most famous, but this is the nei, and it's quite a few all around here. It's growing off the side of the sliding sands trail. I'm just by a Haleakala Silversword. Now, this is a species of plant that can live decades and flowers only once before dying. It can flower after 50 years, or it can flower after a single decade, and no one knows why it suddenly decides to flower. But right next to this little guy is one that's decided to flower. So this is it in its final stage of its life. See another one, not too far away. Now the Silversword was getting quite endangered, and it's still protected because, like a lot of the plants on Hawaii, it didn't have any large predators. So it never developed thorns or poisons or things like that. So when goats and things were introduced, they would just eat up the Silversword. Now the wilderness area of Haleakala is completely fenced off, and it allows some protection, and the Haleakala Silversword is thriving now. So that's quite good news. I feel rather fortunate now because the sliding sands trail has taken me through what can only be described as a veritable Haleakala Silversword garden. Just see a group being led up on horseback. They'll have gone down into the crater and now they're heading back up to the summit. A much easier way of getting down, I think.
Not necessarily harmful. They're there, put them on there, but they don't really see much use.
Jetzt kommt meine Sicht. Das hier ist nur bis zum nächsten Trail. 3,5 bis zu dem Rundtrail da.
Ach so? Habt ihr keinen Klemmer?
Nein. Durch? Hey, soll ich mal gucken, was wie es aussieht?
Wie es aussieht, doch weiß ich selber.
This thing's cool. It's a round piece of rock, and I guess when the cinder cone was venting, it just must have got hurled high up into the air and landed. And, cool. Just imagine the force required to do this sort of thing, and all the other ones lying around. They might have come from one eruption. Just sat between Halaeakala and Halaeakala, which is two cinder cones. I've got about 6 miles to go to head back to the road. I'm actually going a different route than what I planned. I planned to go back up the way I came down. But I ran into a couple who are hiking as well, and they said if you continue on, you'll get to the road, and it's actually an easy hitchhike. The ranger also mentioned that to me. So it's what I'm going to try. I've got over 4 hours of daylight left to do 6 miles in. I do have a climb, but you know, it's going to be pretty relaxed. It's nice and warm, but I still have a fleece on, mainly to keep the sun off me. I find the trail extremely easy on the foot. It's very well maintained. I wouldn't recommend it in sandals like some people have been doing, but with a sturdy pair of boots, you're going to have no trouble whatsoever. So amazing out here. Put my map away, have another sip of water, and then I'm going to get going. Sticks to your hand. Look how lush this little area is. Look at all the mist coming in. I guess this is going to be the moist part of the crater, where it's at the northern edge, where I believe there's like a massive hole in the crater wall. So all these clouds are forming and coming up and bringing moisture. I'm really fascinated by the all the igneous rock and all the really sharp, interesting shapes it makes. It's really cool. Looking down here you can see, I think it must be a very small lava tube. It goes to a little tunnel there and dips down and comes out where the path is. And you can really see how the lava flowed. It's amazing. I'm on the Halemau'u Trail near the Ko'olau Gap, Halaeakala National Park. and it's quite a steep climb. See all these switchbacks? This lasts for 2 miles. Well, just over 2 miles, around 2.2. I've not been climbing too far. You can see some of the switchbacks below me, leading down to the bottom. Oh, but as you can see, I'm in cloud now. The cloud's coming in quite fast. It's actually extremely refreshing and cooling. It's perfect weather to be hiking in. I'm not hot, I'm not cold, I am just perfect. Wow. I spoke to some people at the Halaeakala hut, the cabin built by the CCC in the 1930s. They were staying there for the night. But other than that, I've seen a German couple and 2 other hikers, and that's it. As soon as I'd left to go down the shifting sand, or the sliding sand trail, all the other people seemed to vanish. There were probably hundreds of people on top of the summit, but I don't think anyone's actually come out to hike, which is an absolute shame because I have passed some fantastic scenery. As you can probably hear, I'm quite enthused about all this. It's going to be nice to get up to the top. I'll have done the entire climb in maybe 5.5 hours, depending on how many stops I take. I'm in absolutely no rush. All the time in the world, which is exactly what you want when you're out hiking. I'm just looking down over the edge here. It's beautiful. Just walking along the Halemau'u Trail, just to give you an idea of what it's like. See, there's a fairly steep drop off on the right hand side of the trail just here. I think, can you see the bottom right now? You can just see where all the switchbacks are. It's been quite a tough climb. I've been doing it for about half an hour so far. I might have another half an hour of climbing to go up. Probably up lots more switchbacks. After that, I've got to try and hitchhike to the summit where my car is. Hopefully it should be pretty easy. I'm covered in sweat. Someone should have stopped for me. It's a shame it's so cloudy because I can't really see. At the same time, it's quite eerie and extremely peaceful. I'm enjoying a slight break in the clouds, and I'm actually able to see all the way back down again. You can see how the trail runs along the side of the mountain and then drops steeply down. All the rocks are just such wondrous formations. I find this fairly awesome because just to my left it goes down, and just to my right it goes down. I'm just on a narrow little path. Oh, what a view, both sides. Just seeing the mountains starting to peek out behind the clouds. All that downstairs, the Haleakala crater. So that's what I was walking through earlier on today. Beautiful. Well, I'm back at 8,000 feet. About 2,000 feet below the summit, but this is the road, this is the trailhead, and there's actually a pull out here designed for hitchhikers. So I've just got to wait here. I hope that someone comes, picks me up. Hopefully I won't have to wait very long. It's been a fantastic hike. Longer than I planned because I did the extra trail, but boy am I glad I did that. Beautiful country. And what great maintained trails as well. Oh, I don't think my feet can go any further. I think the limit has just been reached for today. Yeah. Okay, let's get my thumb out and wait. I managed to get a ride. The first car that went past stopped and picked me up, so perfect. It is cold up here. I am 10,000 foot up. 10,000 feet is the limit of the same conditions to mountain. So that shows how high you can go. Well, the sun's gone now. It's got this cloud blowing in. It's getting dark. Now everyone's going to have a race down the mountain so that they're not stuck behind the person at the back. I'm cold, so the heater's going to be on.